Flosstube. It's April, May, June stitcher. It's been nearly 4 months since my last update, so I have got quite a lot to show you. It might be done in parts because I've got stacks of piles like this to show. I'm not sure how long this video will be. Yeah, so we will crack on. I'm going to start with, I've made a list. I'm going to start with my whips, which there's only 2, because all the rest are new starts or their finishes / FFOs. So the first one is There Dwells My Heart by Shepherd's Bush, and I started this, I think, was it 2019, and it was for Michelle the Striped Rose, her birthday, and it was to stitch anything with a flag on it. So, and I'm gonna put things away as I go along because I'll make a right mess if otherwise. So this is where I am. I think I just worked on this once on July the 4th, and I managed to stitch the border, well, half of the border anyway, and some other bits. And that's in my American flag project bag that I was given in an exchange. I think it was the Dixie Sampler Exchange group. So my other thing that I've worked on is Beneath the Sunlit Sky by Blackbird Designs, and I'm doing this on 30 count Morris Blue, I believe, by Weeks Dye Works. And this is where I am. I'd gone wrong on this border. I hadn't done enough diagonal stitches up, so it's one thread wrong, so I need to unpick the border, but that's where I am. Sorry it's not ironed, but it's not, I've only got the border, this border to do, and the top, and this flower band, and then the border that goes around the outside, which is just a stitch line. So I should really get that finished. So my next things I've got to show are all new starts. So this was something that I wanted. It was out of stock for ages because I've got a frame that I want to put this in. So this is Home for Christmas by Mill Hill. And I only worked on this a little bit. I just made a start. So I've got something to work on for when it's time to do some Christmas stitching. So that's all I've done. It's really cute because it comes with a little button. And I'm doing mine on 32 count, or it's, no, sorry, 28 count, and I'm not sure what the fabric colour is, but it might be something called Woodland, I think. I'm not sure. It was just a piece that I had. So that's that. The next new start is Where Flowers Blossom by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and I loved Laurie Holt's finish on this, where she had bought a red frame, I think it is, from a charity shop, and she made the chart fit the frame, and so she added extra bee skeps along here and made the fence longer and added another bee, I think, but I loved how hers looked, so I want to add in the same things that she did. I just loved it. And this is where I am, and I'm doing this on 32 count Limestone by Zweigart. I love all the colours in this. Now I'm going to put it away. Ooh. Hoping there won't be any accidents as I put things away. So then this is actually a restart for me. So this is In All Seasons by Tournicoton, and this is my original start, and I just hated working on the fabric. It's a Murano even weave, and I don't know what it is about it. I just hated working on it, so I didn't want to then pick it up. So then I restarted mine on 36 count. It's a fabric of the month from Sparklies, but I don't know what the name of it is. I don't think it has a name. I think it's just fabric of the month. So that's what I've managed to get done. The way I usually like to work is I like to make a good start on something, and I don't mind doing that for one day and then putting it away. So rather than just doing a few stitches and saying it's a start, I like to do a good start, and then the next time I do pick it up, at least I can see good progress on it, and then it encourages me to carry on. So my next start is Oh Tannenbaum by With Thy Needle and Thread, and this is I've had this chart for a while, but we can't get the box here in the UK, and of course Brenda Gervais isn't shipping internationally anymore, so I wanted to try and come up with my own way of finishing this. So what I did was I decided to make my own box, and I know it looks horrendous because that's where the stitch piece will go. So I bought an art panel, so it looks like this, and it's an art panel from Hobbycraft, which is £10, and it's got a slight lip on it because I think you may put resin in it and do some sort of art. Anyway, so on the reverse side it had this deep well, and I thought, oh, that will work. And then I bought some balsa wood, which they sell in Hobbycraft again, and it costs £4, and it just one strip, and I just thought I'm going to give it a go, that will work. So I glued it all together, cut the bits to the right size, glued it together. It's slightly bigger than the one Brenda does, but work with what you can get. And I painted it red. There's Shepherd's Bush had done a finish and painted their box red, and I loved how it looked, so that's what I wanted to do. And what I did was stitch one and then finish it, just so I could see how it fitted in the box. And I don't think it looks too bad. I've got lots of compliments on it on Instagram, and I know a few people have like used my idea to do theirs, and I think Stitching Sally or Stitchy Sally has FFOs hers on Instagram, and it looks great. Hers is a cream or beige, I think, I can't remember, but yeah, it looks good. But I was really pleased with how it turned out, and quite inexpensively I've managed to build is a bit of a strong word, but make something to finish something that otherwise might have just gone unstitched. I had a message sent to me by Nancy on Instagram, and it was completely out of the blue. So back in 2018, there was a thing going around on Instagram of like a stitchy wish list, and some of them were unicorn charts that were out of print and things, or just general, this is the chart I would love but I haven't bought it yet. But anyway, I listed about 5, I think, and this one was one of mine, Heaven Above by Midsummer Night's Designs. And I loved this from when Schoolhouse Stitcher showed it, and of course it was an out of print chart. And I had a message on Instagram from Nancy who said she'd got the chart, would I like to buy it or exchange it for some charts. So we came up with something between us, and I ended up buying her 2 charts that she liked, and she sent me this. And I am not religious at all, but the verse on this is, I just think it's really beautiful, and it's from a hymn, I believe, called Heaven Above, I think, and written about 400 years ago, I think, from some bloke in the UK. I can't remember. I did Google it, but anyway, but I'm not sure if this is the original version or if it's a more up-to-date version. I couldn't really find out much information, but I'll read it out. There is a land of pure delight where saints immortal reign. Eternal day eludes the night and pleasures banish pain. Their everlasting spring abides and never fading flowers. Death like a narrow sea divides this heavenly land from ours. And I don't know why I love it, but I just do, and I could not be more grateful for Nancy contacting me and offering me this chart. And I made a very small start on it because I just wanted to get it started off, so then I can, because at the moment I'm Halloween stitching, so when all that's passed, this is what I want to do. So I've got all the called for threads, and I just made a very small start, and I'm doing this on 36 count linen that I just dyed myself. So that is one that I can't wait. It's one that I can't wait to get back to. So then at the end of, towards the end of August, I couldn't stand it anymore, but I saw so much on Instagram of Halloween stitching, so I just went full steam ahead and just started Halloween stitching. Anyway, this is Spell of the Moon by Blackbird Designs, and this is from, you could buy this as an individual chart, or it's in the Winds of Autumn booklet. If anyone is thinking about getting this book, you should, because it's absolutely amazing. So I didn't want a bright yellow moon. It doesn't look as bright in the picture, but the called for thread, which is Harvest Moon, sorry, it's really bright, or the one I had was really bright and orange. So anyway, I was looking around and I found a thread that I wanted to use, and it's Clamshell by Weeks. And I'm doing this on 32 count Murky by Picture This Plus, and this is my favourite fabric. So I just made a start, and it was more to get the moon down, because the thread has got little bits, it's almost like a cream base, and then it's got bits of pink and blue in it, and I was looking at it, I'm thinking, will that work? And I think it looks quite good. As the moon, and I stitched it around so it wasn't stripy, but albeit the way it's fallen, I suppose it does look like that. But anyway, so yeah, this is the thread. You can't really see it because I've used most of it up, but it's Clamshell by Weeks Dye Works. So I'd like to get that finished. So then another start that I made is Hilda and Sunflowers 2 by With Thy Needle and Thread. Love this one. I think it came out last year, and I bought it instantly, but didn't start it, but you know, that's what you do. And I'm doing this on 36 count Dahlia, or Dahlia if you're in the US, I think, by Sparklies, and that is what I've got done. That's one day of stitching. I love how she looks. And I wasn't sure about this fabric. I wasn't sure how well the black would stand out, but I think it looks quite good on there, so I'm gonna carry on. So then my last new start is Crusin by Glendon Place. Now, I've never stitched a Glendon Place before, but this I saw this for the first time, I think in 2018, and it was actually a finish in the Nimble Thimbles. Chris at the Nimble Thimble had framed it up, and she'd put it up on the wall until the lady could come and collect it. I'd love to know whose it was because it was just fabulous. And I saw it and I was like, wow. And every time I go to the Nimble Thimble, I always look at this, and I've never bought it. But because of a finish that I have managed to get done, I just thought I'm going to reward myself with this. So I made the very smallest start on this, and I bought this from Chris's online shop, and she was selling the chart, the called for fabric, all the cryonic, the beads, and the silk for the moon, because that is done in Karen water lilies. I think it's lemon and lime thread for the moon. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna buy it, and I just wanted to make a start, and that is what I managed to get done. I think the chart calls for Jobelin, 28 count Jobelin, but Chris supplies the linen, and it's a Witchelt one, and I think it's hand dyed. They do a hand dyed range. I don't think it's laser printed because it shows through on both sides, and like the Zweigart Vintage Country Mocha, I think that's how it works. I'm really glad that it's linen rather than the Jobelin, because I always, when I've tried to stitch on Jobelin before, I go through I just can't stitch on it. I go through the twisted threads. My needle always goes through. But anyway, so that's just a tiny start on that, and that is to replace the one big Halloween stitch that I've finished, but I'll show you that when I come to FFOs. So that's all the things I've worked on whip wise. Sorry, I think I just bumped the camera then. So now I've got some finishes, and this is Christmas Thoughts by the Drawn Thread. I'll try and get it all in frame, and I'm so pleased that I managed to get this finished. So just stand up so I can sort of scroll it through. So I started this last year, I believe, and I just love this, and I did this on 32 count Gold Fleck Natural by Zweigart. All the little charms and beads, and I actually put the year on it. I don't normally put the year on things, but I'm glad that I did. Yeah, I love that. So that's finished. Then another finish I had was this is, what is this called? It's the Stitching Bee by Little House Needleworks. So I did this in a few days. I just fancied doing something really quick. So there's that one. And then another, this is Halloween finishes now. And this is Scary You by Shepherd's Bush. And this is one where you buy the button and you get the chart for free. So there's the button. And I used some of the called for threads and then just whatever was in my stash. And this is done on the called for 18 count natural, I think. I did the Stitching Bee because I wanted it bigger on 25 count natural by Zweigart. I'm trying to use up random bits of fabric that I've got as well. And then I've got, so those were our finishes, and now I've got FFOs. So my first FFO is the Pastoral pocket by the Drawn Thread, and I am so pleased with how this has turned out. And then that's the back. So the way this looks on Instagram is some of it's upside down because of the way you fold it. So I was a bit, oh, am I going to do the pocket? But I thought I'm going to go with it and see if I can do it. So that's the outside. And then I just sort out my little bits, so bear with, sorry. And I didn't change the date on this one. But there's the inside of the pocket, and I just added threads to it to make it look finished. And the fabric I used for the inside is some that my friend Vicky very kindly sent me. She sent me loads of fabric a few years ago, and then I decided to go with a red felt for the, this is where you put your pins. So on the chart you can actually stitch a little scissor fob as well, so I've just got that to finish off. And I've bought some quite ornate scissors to go with it. They were quite cheap from eBay, and I just wanted to have them so I could display them. But yeah, I loved how this turned out. Mine isn't finished exactly how it should be, but anyway, but it works, it's fine, it buttons up, and it's good. It's all good. So then I also finished, this is, I don't think it has a proper name, but it was something like, I think they go by the number, and it's like truck snow globe or something like that as the description. But anyway, this is by the B Company, which is a French designer. And when I bought this, it came with the actual wooden piece, the finishing lace, the fabric, the fabric for the what do you call it, applique, and the threads. So I finished that, so I was really pleased. And it came with the little wooden truck as well, and the wooden buttons. And that giant star shouldn't be there. It should be these tiny little embroidered stars. But what I had done is carried my thread from one to the one, and you couldn't really, yeah, anyway, you couldn't really see it. But then when I finished it and glued it all I could see was the red thread joining them up. So I was like, oh, and because I'd glued it all down, so I ended up cutting it out and then sticking a felted star on it. And I quite like it, but it shouldn't look like that. But anyway, mine does. And the board, it's a really nice that you get everything in there, and they're very inexpensive. Chris at the Nimble Thimble sells these, and I've got another one to show actually. So then this is my other one, which is Brooms, I think it's called. Again by the B Company, and it came with the frame, the wool at the bottom, the fabric at the bottom, and the wooden brooms. And I think you can buy the wooden brooms separately from the B Company. So I have done stitched mine on 32 count bramble by Picture This Plus, and I've used the called for threads. So I just think this is really sweet. And it came with the finishing hanging twine, ribbon, whatever you want to call it. Albeit I'm not sure if it's slightly skew width, but I think that's the way the frame has been cut rather than my placement. I'm not sure. I try not to look at it and think I'm going to redo that, but anyway. And then my second to last FFO. Now this is a Winifred Webb 1869 by Whilst Iris Snaps. Designs my Stitchy BFF, and she released it as a red sampler, but she was the one who suggested on her Instagram post it would make a fabulous Halloween stitch, and I just absolutely ran with that. So I did mine in black and orange, and I stitched my initials in orange, and I added I'll show you in a second. So I corseted on the back of a spool, which I painted the spool. Christina had sent me this this spool, and it was quite a ready varnished colour, and I asked her, is it wrong if I paint my spool that you sent me? And she was like, no, it's absolutely fine. So I did immediately, and I'm really pleased that I did. So what I also did was add some tiny spiders there, wrong way, and there, and I added a tiny little spider's web, and I just love how it looks, and I think it's great for Halloween. So you can see there was a little red painted strip as well, painted around the spool. You can just see that coming through, but I quite like the way that looks. I did literally one coat of black acrylic paint, and then I used a furniture wax to shine it up. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that came out, and I stitched that on 40 count hand dyed that I did myself with Rit dye. It looked quite a mess actually, but once you've got all your stitching on there, it calms it down. And then my final one, which I am so pleased with that it's finally done, and this isn't properly FFO'd, it is Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio, and this is stitched on 36 count Murky with all the called for threads, and this is actually stitched 2/2. I started this in 2017, and this is when I was still using 2 threads on 36 count, and Pitch This Plus I find is quite a tight weave, but this one was actually fine. But I do love it. I love it so much, and I'm so pleased. And this is a frame that I ordered from Etsy. It's the same frame as that I used for Sally Spencer, and I didn't think it would fit properly. I thought I would have to just stitch a little bit of something to make it fit perfectly, because I wasn't sure of the dimensions of, anyway, I'm waffling on. But when I put it in, I was like, wow, it just fits so perfectly. It's slightly wonky, so I do need to repin it, but I just did it really quickly just so I could see how it looked. But yeah, I just love this, and I love looking at it. I think it's just so fun, all the colours, and it looks fab on Murky. But yeah, I'm really pleased that I've actually got that finished. So that is everything that I have stitched on for the past 4 months. That's a lie, because I want to restart something. Oh, another thing that I did work on is I started my Christmas quilt. I think the video before last I had shown the fabric for this, and I just bought as much of this fabric as I could. So anyway, I started to make up the middle blocks, and I'm not going to be able to show you all of it, but I'll insert a picture. This is just the centre of it, but I am so pleased with how it turned out, and I am really pleased with how I've managed to get it lined up. But yeah, this makes me happy every time I look at the fabric as well. So I'm just I'm using a very quick pattern from Missouri Quilt Star company, and I think it's like a 5-minute video on YouTube of how they make up this this quilt from a charm pack and a jelly roll. and that's exactly what I had. So I was looking for a quilt that I could do. The only thing that I've done differently is they had their blocks all the same, going the same way, and I alternated mine, so I'd got long bits and short bits, which means less matching up of lines, which I didn't really realise. Not lines, seams, which I didn't really realise at the time, but I'm so glad I did it that way. But yeah, I'd like to get back to that when Christmas starts, but at the moment I am just really into Halloween / autumnal stitching. So also what I like to do is, like that old Tannenbaum box, I almost like to do the finish thing before I've actually done the stitching thing. So some examples of that are, now where, oh, they're down here. Sorry, this video will be a right mess. Anyway, I did post this on Instagram. I bought this chart from Chris at the Nimble Thimble, and it's Almost Halloween by The Drawn Thread, and I love this. And what I wanted to do was, well, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted something that I could finish other than getting it framed, and I decided to do this. And this is almost three trays that you buy from Hobby Lobby, and I think it's £8 or £10, and there's 3 different size trays in there. So I painted it orange to start with, and then I painted over it quickly in black, and then I got some wire wool, not the soap infused kind, but just plain, and I sanded it whilst it was almost still a little bit wet, so it would just take off the black but still keep the orange on there. And then I waxed it, and then I added some foam board with a little bit of batting, and then I bought this fabric which is Moda. I think it's something like Basic Halloween or something like that. I'll find out the proper name. And I bought these 2 fabrics and then some buttons that I covered myself, and I added a bit of rickrack. And then what I'll do, because this is only tiny when it's stitched up, it's something like this, about this thick, but I'll do that, and then I'll stick it up here, and I think that'll look really cute. But I don't know whether anyone else is a bit weird like that, where they like to finish the thing before they've actually stitched the thing. So that's Almost Halloween, so I want to start that. And then after Halloween, I'd like to stitch some autumnal things, and this is, I've loved this chart for so long, and this is Harvest Keeper by Plum Street Samplers. And Michelle, Farm Girl, had this given to her as part of an exchange. I think it was an exchange at one of the Midwest cross stitches retreats, and they had finished it for her in a tray, a black tray, and it just looked fabulous. So I bought, I've got a copy of the idea, I bought this tray from Hobbycraft, and I think it's £10 or £8. It's plain wood, and I painted it black and then distressed it ever so slightly with some sandpaper and then waxed it. But it fits in very nicely. Well, it fits in it. I haven't stitched it yet, but it will fit in very nicely in the tray. So that's the mess I make. So that's how it is. I don't know who would buy this to actually use as a tray, because you'd put any weight on this and it'd fall straight through the bottom of it. It'd just break. But so I've cut my foam core, put that in, and that's all ready for when I start that. I was just in the mood for painting, I suppose. And then another one that I've done is Quaker Stitching Tray by Brenda Gervais. And not that this is like autumnal or whatever, but I was just in the mood for trying to find things to finish things in. And this is this is in the floristry section at Hobbycraft. It's quite rough when you get it, and it's almost like a grey brown, really rough wood. So I got some red paint. It's the same red that I used for the Tannenbaum tray, which is burgundy. It's red, from Hobbycraft acrylic paint. They do a bright red and then a normal like pillar box red, which they call burgundy. So I mixed that with a bit of brown just to bring it to almost like the colour, the plummy colour that Brenda's got on her tray. And if I do it on 30 count, I think it'll just leave a nice, not as close as this border, but it'll just leave a little slight border around. And these are 2 of the called for threads. So that's how I try to match up the colour. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that one as well. And then I've got some other things that I would like to, one more thing that I'd like to start, which is Witch's Brew by Brenda Gervais. Oh, I just love this. So that's, I think that's it. I've got 2 other Halloween whips that I've got, which is what is this? Bobbin for Pumpkins by Brenda Gervais, and I'm doing this on the called for linen, which is 36 count straw by Weeks, and that's where I am. But I would like to get that finished. Sorry, this is all over the place, I think. Oh, and another one that I bought, which was the Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee. This is one that I'm not too fussed if I get this started, but I just really wanted the booklet. And I've got all the called for threads all sorted, and then I've got some small pieces of seraphim fabric. I've got 6 pieces, and I think there's 5 or 6 designs in the book, and they're all different. I don't know how well you can see how different they are, but I just thought that'd be quite nice to do them all on little bits of the same brand but different colour fabrics. You can't really tell that they're different, I suppose, in the video, but they are. So yeah, I'm looking forward to starting those as well, but again, I'm not too bothered about starting those. It's a little bit better this time round than my previous videos, but I've got bits of everything in here. I've got a lot of Christmas stuff as well. So this isn't really cross stitch, but this is embroidery that I bought from the Stitchery. And what is this called? It's just called Christmas Angel. You can't really see what it's like in the photo. It's not a very good photo, but it's quite a sweet little Christmas stitch, and it comes with everything that you need. That's embroidery rather than cross stitch. So I've sorted these into themes, if you like. So this is the Nebby needle, and it's Santa's Ride. I'm always drawn to Christmas designs, and this is, I love this is How the Finch Stole Christmas by Artful Offerings, and I love everything about him. I love the colours that have been used for him. And then this one doesn't look like much, but it's Christmas Row by Bent Creek, and this is the same as I've done Halloween Row and Kitty Cat Row, I think that's what it's called, by Bent Creek, and it just looks fabulous with all the buttons on it. This finish doesn't, the photograph doesn't show the buttons, but I've got all of the buttons, and it just looks fabulous. Chris has got this stitched up as a model in her shop. It's right by the till, so, and that's where I saw it. And then my last Christmas one is what is this called? The Social Call. I saw this on Chris's website, and I just loved him, and I think he's fabulous. Now this is I think it's massive. He is stitched on 10 count over 1. So what I don't enjoy stitching over 1. So what I've done is bought some 20 count natural Zweigart from, I bought this from the Wool Warehouse, and it's quite a big piece, because I think it'll be quite a big stitch as well. But yeah, I just love him so much. He's just very jolly and very Christmas. It's from 1999, so it's really old design. So then this is sort of everything in between slash summer charts, and this I never bought this, even though it was my most favourite release from last year's or was it the year before? I think it was last year's release, and it is Newcastle Bouquet by Teresa Koger. So I eventually bought it, and I ordered the called for fabric, but in 36 count, which is a straw by Weeks Dye Works. Yeah, 2020 at not Nashville. Is it Nashville? It is Nashville. Yeah, that's when it was released. I just love everything about this, all the colours. It's so fab. So I'm pleased I've got that. Then I bought Butterfly Cloche by from Hello from Liz Matthews. Oh, I'm all over the place. I just love this. I think it's really sweet design. Then this is from a magazine, and I can't remember what magazine it's from, and it's called something else in that cross stitch magazine, but Doreen Jones has released this as a download on her Etsy page, and she calls it The Hum of the Bees. I'll list where it's originally from, because Laurie Holt showed it in one of her Flosstubes, and I love this, and I think it would look quite nice on some hand dyed fabric and more toned down to be more primitive looking. But I do just love this. See, that one, and then and one another, be kind, and be kind to one another by Needleworks Press. Love this, which is the companion piece to Exceedingly Diligent. Love that. And again, this is from Because of Laurie Holt. This is Summer at Cherry Hill, and hers looks beautiful, and she didn't actually fill in the grass, and it looks great actually. And then this is one that I originally bought, and then I sold it because I bought the proper paper pattern, and then I can't remember what I was doing, or anyway, I ended up buying the digital version from Pinebury Lane, which is Mrs. Maguire Bee Charmer, and I am glad I've bought it again as the digital download, because it is really sweet, and I don't really know why I sold it in the first place, but who else doesn't do these things? Anyway, so I bought some things from Traditional Stitches in Canada. So this is Berry Keeper by Brenda Gervais, and I also bought the hoop to go with it. However, I don't know why I bought the hoop, because this is done over one on 28 count, and I don't like stitching over one on 28 count, so I don't know if I'll be able to. I fudged a design of hers before so it could fit on a little box that I had, so I don't know whether I'll try and do the same thing so I can stitch over two on maybe 40 count. I'll see, but yeah, this is a really sweet design. And you can tell how long ago I ordered these, because this is Holiday Hoopla Easter by Brenda Gervais again. Sorry for the glare. But again, this is a really sweet one. I love that bunny. I love the bunny's tail. And this is another Teresa Koger, which is Come to the Garden. I love that butterfly. I love the colours. She's such a talented designer. And then I've got some Halloween designs that I bought, only 2. So this is Midnight Ride by Blackbird Designs, and I didn't actually buy it for this one. It was the hat on the back which I bought it for because I love. So yeah, I know this is an older one, 2013. And then when I was looking on Etsy, this came up. I think I'd just searched for cross-stitch pumpkins or something, and this came up. And this is from Prairie Grove Peddler, and it's 3 different pumpkin designs. I love this. And then I've had some stitchy kindness from my friend Vicky, who was the one who sent me all the fabric from a few years ago, and she'd bought 2 of these charts from Blackbird Designs, and it's for the birds. I had one of these charts, but she asked me if I wanted the whole lot, and I said yes please. I love these. I love that there's only a few colours used. The blue, I love the blue. I think this is the one, yeah, this is the only one that I had. So yeah, I think I love these. So thank you, Vicky, and she sent me a really sweet card to go with them. And finally, on the common threaded stitcher tag that was going round on Instagram for August, one of the questions was like unicorn chart or most desired chart, and I had put up Honeysuckle Manor by Blackbird Designs. I think it's my most favourite book of theirs that I would have loved to have got anyway. And Mary on Instagram, she private messaged me and said she'd got the chart that I had put up, which was Honeysuckle Manor by Blackbird Designs. It's out of print. She said she had it, it's mine if I wanted it, and she sold it to me like not inflated, just what she had paid for it, and postage as well. So I was really pleased because it came. It's just fabulous, and she sent me such a great card, the unicorn chart card to go with it being my unicorn chart. And the design in here that I absolutely love is this one. I love everything in the book. I'll show you. I'm sorry that it's out of print, but everything is designed off of this original sampler. That's what I love about Blackbird Designs. It's Louisa Bell's Honeysuckle Manor. So that's their reproduction, and they changed the name and whatnot. So Margaret Harris, 1877. This is the one that I absolutely love, and this is done in Belsoir silk. So I was going to order the Belsoir silk, but then I went through my threads and I've just got alternatives that I'm going to be able to use to replace them. So yeah, I think this one, I love this because my mum's name, her first name was Margaret, so I'd maybe like to do something for my mum with this one. So this is a Tisket and a Task, sorry. It's really sweet. Oh, there it is better. Sorry, that's a better picture. And then this is a Stitcher's Companion. So if you can ever get hold of this book, do. and this is a honeysuckle pin box. And then they also do a flower tape measure, so you cover a tape measure. And then this is vintage pinball. Really simple design, but again really sweet. And then this one, I wonder if there's a better picture. This is Summer House pin cushion. That's lovely as well. And then they've got these 3 little designs, pin and needle cupcakes. So these are really sweet as well. So yeah, I could not have been more pleased, and thank you to Mary for reaching out to offer it to me, because I know it's a very sought after book. And I'm so grateful. I just think the stitching community on the whole are absolutely fabulous. So, oh, I've got one other thing to show us. This is a plique that I bought. I think there's one shop in the UK that sells kits, and when I say kits, I believe on their website they've got 4 of buttermilk base and wool applique kits, and I bought this one for autumn, and what's it called, Mr. Crow's pumpkin. So yeah, I've taken it out of the bag, but everything, all the fabrics are there for me to have a go at doing some wool applique. I've done wool applique before, but yeah, I love him. So, and then, oh, sorry, lots of alls going on. Let me just grab something. Another thing I would like to start is this Midnight Garden by Shepherd's Bush. It's a kit that I've got, and I've also got the tray. So this is my most favourite tray of these that I've got. So yeah, I think in the past I've managed to stitch these up really quickly, so I've had it longer than what it would take me to finish. But yeah, I would like to get this one done. I'm thinking Halloween's lasting months and months and months, but it's not really, is it? Because September we're practically halfway through September. So that is everything from me. I hope everybody is staying safe still and looking after one another and just enjoying stitching on what they want to stitch. I know lots of people are doing Sampler September. I'm not very good at these things. I just need to stitch on what I want to stitch on, because it's like I never keep up with anything. But anyway, yes, I hope everybody takes care, and I will see you sometime, maybe soon. Given my track record, it's not been great this year, but yeah, anyway, I will see you all soon, hopefully. Bye everyone.